How Netflix Destroyed Blockbuster, a $6 billion mistake. In the year 2000, a tiny startup with fewer than 300,000 subscribers walked into the Dallas headquarters of a $6 billion empire and offered to sell themselves for just $50 million. The CEO of that empire looked at them and laughed, literally laughed them out of the room. That tiny startup was Netflix. That empire was Blockbuster. Today, Netflix is worth over $300 billion. Blockbuster is a single store in Bend, Oregon, operating like a museum. This is the story of the most expensive laugh in business history. To understand how badly Blockbuster failed, you first need to understand how dominant they were. At their peak, Blockbuster had over 9,000 stores worldwide, 60,000 employees, 45 million registered customers, and $6 billion in annual revenue. Every Friday night in America had the same ritual. Drive to Blockbuster, wander the aisles, argue with your family about what to watch, grab some overpriced popcorn, and pray that the movie you wanted was not already rented out. Blockbuster was not just a company, it was a cultural institution. But Blockbuster had a dirty secret that powered their entire business model: late fees. By some estimates, late fees generated $800 million annually. That is not a side revenue stream. That is the engine. And Blockbuster was completely addicted to it. Return a movie one day late? That will be $1. A week late? $5. Forget about it entirely. They would charge you the full price of the movie. Customers absolutely hated it. But what were they going to do? Blockbuster was the only game in town, or so they thought. In 1997, a man named Reed Hastings returned a copy of Apollo 13 to his local Blockbuster. He was 6 weeks late. The clerk handed him a bill for $40 in late fees. Whether this story is completely true or just Netflix folklore, it represents the exact moment when customer frustration became a billion-dollar opportunity. Hastings and his coworker Mark Randolph founded Netflix in 1997 with a radical idea. What if you could rent DVDs through the mail with no due dates and no late fees? For a flat monthly subscription, you could keep movies as long as you wanted. In 1998, Netflix launched with 30 employees and a website that looked like it was built in someone's garage. The early days were brutal. DVD players were expensive and uncommon. Most people were still renting VHS tapes. Netflix was losing money fast, burning through cash, trying to stay alive. By the year 2000, Netflix had fewer than 300,000 subscribers and was drowning in $58 million in losses. They were desperate, so desperate that they flew to Dallas to beg Blockbuster to buy them. This is the meeting that changed entertainment history forever. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph walked into Blockbuster's corporate headquarters in Dallas and sat across from CEO John Antioco. Their pitch was simple: buy 49% of Netflix for $50 million. Netflix would run Blockbuster's online operations. It would be a partnership. Antioco reportedly looked at the Netflix founders and tried not to laugh. $50 million for a money-losing DVD mail service with no clear path to profitability in a world where broadband internet was still a luxury? No thank you. Barry McCarthy, Netflix's former chief financial officer, later said they were laughed out of the room. It felt like a total humiliation. But what Antioco could not see was that he was not just rejecting a startup. He was rejecting the entire future of entertainment. Think about what $50 million meant to Blockbuster. They had raised $465 million in their IPO just a year earlier. $50 million was pocket change. It was roughly what they spent on candy and popcorn inventory. They could have owned Netflix for the price of their snack budget. After the rejection, something interesting happened. DVD players finally became cheap and mainstream. And suddenly, Netflix's model made perfect sense. No more driving to the store, no more late fees. Just pick movies online and they show up in your mailbox. By 2003, Netflix posted its first profit and hit 1 million subscribers. Blockbuster started to notice. In 2004, they finally launched Blockbuster Online, their own DVD by mail service. And here is the thing most people do not know. Blockbuster Online was actually good, really good. They had one massive advantage Netflix could not match. Customers could exchange their mail DVDs at any physical store for free. They called it Total Access. By 2006 and 2007, Blockbuster Online was actually pulling subscribers away from Netflix. Netflix had to lower their prices to compete. Reed Hastings later admitted, "If it had not been for their debt, they could have killed us." But here is where the fatal blow came from inside, not from Netflix, from Blockbuster's own boardroom. Activist investor Carl Icahn started buying Blockbuster shares and demanded the company stop burning money on its online division. He wanted cost cuts and short-term profits. In 2005, Icahn forced his way onto the board. By 2007, CEO John Antioco, who was finally trying to transform the company digitally, was fired. His replacement? James Keyes, the former CEO of 7-Eleven, whose strategy was to refocus on physical stores. Keyes killed the digital initiatives. He doubled down on retail. He invested in selling more candy. And at that exact moment, Netflix launched streaming. From 2007 to 2010, Netflix scaled faster than anyone expected. They signed deals with Disney, Lionsgate, MGM, Paramount, and Sony. Their streaming library grew massive, and the world was moving online. Meanwhile, Blockbuster was drowning. Viacom had spun them off in 2004, saddled with $905 million in debt. Every Total Access DVD exchange was costing them $2 per transaction. Late fee revenue was collapsing. Stores were closing by the hundreds. In September 2010, Blockbuster filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They were $1 billion in debt. Netflix, in that same year, hit 20 million subscribers and posted a net income of $161 million. The former CEO, John Antioco, the one who was fired for trying to go digital, sold his Blockbuster shares and invested that money in Netflix stock at around $20 per share. Carl Icahn, the activist investor who had forced Blockbuster to kill its digital strategy, later called it the worst investment he ever made. So what can we actually learn from this? Because this is not just a story about DVDs and streaming. This is a masterclass in how dominant companies destroy themselves. Lesson 1. Never fall in love with your revenue model. Blockbuster was addicted to late fees. $800 million a year. They literally could not imagine a world without them. When your biggest source of income is also the thing your customers hate most, you are sitting on a time bomb. Lesson 2. Short-term thinking kills long-term empires. Carl Icahn wanted quarterly profits. James Keyes wanted to sell more candy. They sacrificed the future to protect the present. And in business, the present is always temporary. Lesson 3. Customer pain is opportunity. Reed Hastings saw that $40 late fee and built a $300 billion company. Every time you hear a customer complain, you are hearing a business opportunity that most people ignore. Lesson 4. You cannot innovate from the inside when the inside is fighting you. Blockbuster's franchisees did not want online to succeed because it would hurt their stores. Their board did not want to invest in digital because it hurt short-term profits. Internal politics killed external innovation. Today, only one Blockbuster store remains. It is in Bend, Oregon, and it operates more like a tourist attraction than a video store. Meanwhile, Netflix has over 200 million subscribers worldwide, a market cap exceeding $300 billion, and has fundamentally changed how the entire world consumes entertainment. All because one CEO laughed at a $50 million offer. Sometimes the most expensive thing in business is not the deal you made. It is the deal you turned down. If you want to learn about another giant that made the exact same mistake, smash that subscribe button, because next time I am going to show you 7 money rules the rich follow that the poor have never heard of.